Hello and welcome to Military Mayday. We're pointing out a few pieces on the chessboard. Got a couple articles we're going to go through today. One is Ecuador accepts military help from Argentina and the U.S. I'm kind of interested about hearing on that. We know there's been some issues in that area with Argentina wanting to take over certain areas. And so we might have something brewing there. Russia's Medvedev says deployment of British troops in Ukraine will mean declaration of war. That's not the only thing. Also, I think is it France? It's also sending troops there. I think it's France. So we're going to have something pop up over this. Just wait and see. Before we get started, why don't you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, help me out, get the word out. People are like us, they want to hear stuff like this. Whether or not I'm the best orator or the best person at putting it through, I do try to read through the articles, and you can make your decision on that. Anyway, like, subscribe, thank you. Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa Friday said this government would be accepting the military cooperation offered by Argentina and the United States, among other countries, because the situation did not allow for egos to stand in the way. We are working with more than 38 nations that will provide international assistance. We have accepted the support of Argentina and the U.S. His country is now in a deep crisis after drug trafficking. Adolfo Macias, alias Fito, leader of the Los Choneros gang, escaped from jail earlier this week, triggering a wave of crime and violence that has so far left 15 people dead, many others wounded, and no less than 178 correction officers held hostage by prison inmates. It is not the moment we say no out of ego or vanity. Let me repeat that again. It is not the moment to say no out of ego or vanity. We need military support in terms of manpower and soldiers, as well as assistance in intelligence, artillery, and equipment. Boy, doesn't everybody just need all of our shit, all of our money, all of our land, all of our businesses, all of our company, all of our corporations? And for some reason, nobody can do anything for themselves. What happens in Ecuador, Colombia, Peru, Bolivia influences Argentina, Security Minister Patricia Bullrich said in Buenos Aires. It's a constitutional issue. It's a continental issue, she stressed. We have to protect ourselves, she added. Noboa declared the international armed conflict, ordering the armed forces to neutralize criminal gangs. U.S. government officials are expected to travel to Quito in the next coming weeks to explore with their Ecuadorian counterparts ways to confront the threat posed by transnational criminal organizations. Well, I know how you deal with it. You send the fucking military in. We did it here in California in the 50s. I believe it was not Truman, but Eisenhower had a bunch of Mexicans uprising in the 50s, and I heard he sent Marines down there, and it was straight up fire back and forth until they finally threw off their little stashes and sashes. They were in those red sashes, I think like Santa Ana or whoever it was, and he sent the Marines in and took care of it. Maybe I can find that story. We affirm our commitment to maintaining close cooperation with Ecuador, including the fight against the criminal organization. State Department. We will work with President Noboa to deepen our law enforcement cooperation through U.S. security assistance programs. Noboa also warned judges and prosecutors that whoever helps the terrorist groups identified by the state will be considered a part of the terrorist network and tried as such. We cannot fight this from only one side, and it is not only bullets, it is also a judicial function. We will consider judges and prosecutors who support terrorist leaders also part of the terrorist group, he stressed. I wish we'd do the same here in the U.S. We got a lot of criminal judges and DAs here that are working with certain powerful men. But I think, at least it's on our continent. I can say that we're going to help somebody on our own continent. That might even be worth it just for that matter. But still, I mean, other countries is just going to have to build their own shit, make their own shit, do their own shit. We're about nickel and dime to death. We're supporting everybody, paying for everybody to come here taking your jobs. Half these people got records on them for rape, murder. It's just fucking gross. White men are going to have to put their guns on their back or something here pretty soon and clear this shit out. Russia's Medvedev says deployment of British troops in Ukraine will mean declaration of war. Department of the UK military forces will mean declaration of war on Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, deputy head of Russia's Security Council, said Friday. Commenting on a visit from Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to Ukraine, the former president reminded that the UK top official came to show support to Ukraine, days after Kiev shelled Russia's city of Belgrade with a cluster of munitions. What would the Western public say if the British delegation came under fire with the use of cluster munitions in the center of Kiev, as it happened with the civilians of our Belgorod? Medvedev, who served as Russian president from 2008 to 12, called insolent and Russia's eternal nemesis. I hope our eternal nemesis and insolent Britain understands that the deployment of their official military contingent in the Ukraine will mean a declaration of war on our country. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on a Friday visited Kiev, announcing $2.5 billion in military support for Ukraine next year with a focus of bolstering the country's defensive capabilities through cutting-edge technology. So more money to Ukraine from other countries, and I think it's France. It's also getting ready to head down there. And if he's worrying about British troops in Ukraine, he's also worried about French troops. French used to be a tough fucking group of men, and they still are. I'd worry about them more than I would Britain, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's it, guys. Medvedev, who has a say. I mean, he's a player. I mean, he was president for 4 years. He's Putin's buddy. If he says that it's coming from Putin, in other words, I don't think they'll do anything about it. I think it's just a threat. They can declare war all they want. It's until they hit a bunch of British and French and American soldiers, that's when war will start, and that's what they don't want, and that's what we don't really want, because that's when it goes bad. But I think the end of this year, something bad's going to happen anyway. We'll see. If you like this stuff, like, subscribe. Till next time, toodaloo.